The following program contains graphic descriptions of events including crime scenes of actual murders. Parental discretion is advised. Gary Leon Ridgway was the second most prolific serial killer in the United States, according to confirmed murders. His victims were mostly teenage girls and women. This was in the Washington state during the 1980s and 90s. His victims were mostly prostitutes and runaways. They would be strangled and dumped somewhere. He would often return to the bodies the next day or so to have sexual intercourse with them. He was known as the Green River Killer. On November 30th, 2001, Ridgway was leaving work in Renton, Washington, when he was arrested for the murders of 4 women. Authorities linked them to him through DNA. He told authorities he would voluntarily cooperate with them and disclose the location of others so he could receive life in prison instead of the death penalty. Gary Ridgway was born in 1949 in Salt Lake City, Utah. He had a troubled home life. He told his defense psychologist that he often had thoughts of killing his own mother. This was when he was a young child. As a young child, he was diagnosed with dyslexia. Then when he was 16, he stabbed a 6-year-old boy. The 6-year-old survived after being stabbed in the liver. Ridgway's IQ was in the low 80s. Gary graduated high school in 1969. He then married his high school sweetheart. He then joined the Navy and was sent to Vietnam. His marriage had ended before he could return home. His second marriage ended in divorce as well. She claimed physical abuse. He quickly turned to religion. Walking from house to house reading Bible verses, he often would cry after reading them. All of his ex-wives and ex-girlfriends said that he always demanded sex. He had kind of a love-hate relationship with prostitutes. He would complain about their presence, but take advantage of what they had to offer. Most of the murders Ridgway committed were between the years of 1982 and 1984, and most of the dump sites of the bodies were near Green River or somewhere around the airport area. He would do anything from contaminate crime scenes and move bodies across state lines to Oregon just to confuse the police, lessening his chances of getting caught. However, one thing did stay the same. All the victims were strangled and raped. In the early 1980s, the King County Sheriff's Office formed the Green River Task Force. One member of the task force quickly created a profile of the killer. 2 other members got some advice on the killer from an unlikely source, Ted Bundy. It was later found that Bundy profiled the killer to a T. Ridgway was arrested in 1982 and 2001 in relation to prostitution charges. In 1983, he became a suspect. He passed a polygraph a year later, and authorities were not able to get his DNA until 1987. He married his 3rd wife in 1988. She was oblivious to the Green River Killer case because she didn't even watch the news. He was finally arrested on November 30th, 2001 for 4 murder cases he was a suspect in 20 years prior. 3 more murders would soon be added due to forensic science. Spray paint found at the murder scenes were the same as the paint found at the factory he worked. It was during his time at the King County Jail he agreed to a plea bargain. He would agree to tell authorities the total number of victims in exchange for sparing him the death penalty. It was then he began to talk. King County prosecuting attorney Norm Maling explained the deal. After being transferred a couple times between prisons, he finally landed at the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla. After his confession to authorities as to the number of victims, he received 480 years in prison, on top of the 48 life sentences. He is not eligible for parole. During the confession, he said he killed 71 victims. 49 have been confirmed. There was a condition that he not only had to give the names of the victims, but also the locations. All 49, 3 unidentified, have been found between July 15th, 1982 and August 21st, 2003. All females, ranging in ages from 15 to 38.